Okay, so first let me get to the actual page. So I put out a video talking about what's happening with Riley CS, a VTuber streamer who was going ham on a, Battlefield 6 beta, and they're showing some footage. And a lot of people are accusing them of cheating. And I made this video with the express point of not caring about the cheating allegation, because ultimately it doesn't matter. It's a video game. But what I wanted to focus on was the fact that people were being extremely transphobic, like extremely transphobic to the point where I couldn't ignore it, right? Not like I have permissible levels of transphobia, but like it was very apparent. So I made this video just with that intention in mind, saying, hey, I'm pretty confident that there's people only talking about this because this is a trans person. And I do not think had it been a cis person that it would, at least a male at least, it would have gotten nearly as much, right? That there's a disproportionate amount of backlash happening because the person is trans. And that's been highlighted through the comments that I have shown in that video, where people on Twitter were just like calling them a he, or some people calling them an it, or saying, they cheat on biology, they're cheating on here, like all this like awful transphobic shit. And I'm like, hey man, let me see if I can sort by my responses. But like, let me see. One of them, like here, Princess Gorilla Grip. Let me close this. Princess Gorilla Grip. Okay. No one has done their research. This dude was exposed for cheating and it's proven. All their clips from the past came out and it's blatant. People redefend some because they're trans. And it's like, do they have proof? No. If you look up their name, everyone has done a breakdown. I actually found a breakdown and people saying that this person, Riley, didn't cheat and they're just really cracked at aiming. But notice how they are immediately misgendering them. Immediately. If this has nothing to do with their gender, then why can't you just say she was cheating? Like, again, I don't even care about the cheating. I really don't. But it's this shit. It's the fact that people are using this as a veneer to be as transphobic as possible. This is one of the permission structures we have created in order to be transphobic. Oh, a trans person did something bad? Cool. That's giving me the green light to be as transphobic and shade his person as I wanted to be, under the thin veneer of saying, oh, I'm just upset because they cheated at Battlefield 6. It's no different from when people were using Gamergate as a way to harass women, but just saying, no, it's just ethics in video game journalism. Then why are there 5,000 videos on Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian? Anita Sarkeesian wasn't even part of Gamergate, right? She wasn't a developer. She didn't make a game, but that was the avenue they used. That was a permission structure to do that. This is the same thing happening here. In the comments of a video where I explicitly state this is happening, and people are telling me this isn't happening. People in transphobic, I just heard they were cheating. Oh no, people were being crazily transphobic. Crazy transphobic. They hear transgender, they hear Baba Yaga. No, yeah, it's so crazy. But like, and this is just a small sampling of what I got. Like here, oh, Caleb. Like Caleb is a hater of me. And even Caleb's like, blatant transphobic tired as fuck. He's thinking I'm reaching, and it's like, hey, you can think that. That's fine. Like I said, I don't care about the cheating, right? But even Caleb, a known hater, if you guys have been on my channel long enough, Caleb does in fact hate on me, is saying that this transphobic is tired. Black fatigue, and I'm not gonna say that fatigue is the same thing, by the way. And it's like it's just so many people, not necessarily transphobia, I almost put an F, as much as being grounded in reality. Everyone on both sides are sick. It's like, why can't we just call assholes asshole? Who gives a fuck if home identifies as whatever? It's insane to try to do like the both sides argument when it's not both sides doing this. Both sides are bad. What other side is there? because this is what I mean too. Because if your whole thing is both sides are bad, right? And let's say you're just talking about why can't you call an asshole? Okay, so you're referring to the cheating. So both sides will either be people who cheat in games and people who don't cheat in games. And you're saying they're both terrible. Well, how would that work? If I don't cheat and you cheat, how are we equally bad? If we're talking about people being transphobic, right? There's people who aren't transphobic, people who are transphobic. So again, how are both sides sick? It's this weird like centrist positions that are so meaningless, because when you break it down, what are you arguing, right? Like if you guys were talking about people, I don't know, fucking murdering people, right? And then murder victims, and someone was like, hey, you know what? I think there shouldn't be murders. Another person was like, nah, dude, it's based to murder people. And you go, both sides are sick. Like, what point are you trying to make here? That you don't have strong opinions, but you want to be heard? And it's like all these comments defending her 100% organized effort. No way, this people are doing that uninformed. This comment is perfect. I have no notes on this comment. It is exactly what the comments should have been like if they were just talking about the cheating. No need to no need to needlessly misgender her, defending her, and this person defending him. He's a guy. What does that add? And this is a dumb comment. When you watch her, you will think she's a man. It's no one's fault. It's people like this creator that will make it about gender. Motherfucker, like, do you guys understand why I get so frustrated with this kind of shit? Like, they're trying to say it's people like me making this about their gender, when in that entire video, I'm showing other people making it about their gender, and I'm explicitly stating it should not be about that, but because we live in the world that we live in, it is. Yeah, everything's considered an organized effort when it's just like normal people doing like normal reactions to things. But it's so interesting that I am somehow on the wrong end of this because it's my fault. It's my fault that the people are being transphobic because I should be focused on their gender. It doesn't matter. When you watch her, you think she's a man. They identify as she, her. Like it's so weird. And then like this comment, like, I had arachnophobia. Does that mean I'm racist to arachnids? And I'm like, do you think phobia means racist? Depends. The word xenophobia is about racism. Same way homophobia is not a fear about gays, but a hatred of gays. Xenophobia isn't about racism. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Racism. Xenophobia is a fear of others, of outsiders. That's what the xeno means. Like, okay. Is a fear, hatred, or distrust of what is foreign, especially of people from other countries. It can manifest as a fear or dislike of anything perceived as different, including people, cultures, customs. Xenophobia can lead to discrimination, prejudice, and even violence against individuals or groups based on perceived foreignness. So, like, yes, you can be xenophobic and racist, but xenophobia literally means a fear of outsiders, of others, of people who are different than you. And like this is the world that we've inherited. This is the world in which I am trying to create content to help explain certain things and hopefully reach people and let them know, like, this shit is weird and insane, right? And sorry for the background noise, by the way, but yeah, people just say shit so confidently. I'm like, stop bringing identity to gaming. How was accusing someone of cheating transphobic? Some of them didn't even know she was trans. Why jump the gun to identity politics? And it's like, please watch the video, right? Like, okay, maybe I'm a bad content creator. Maybe I'm a really, 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 really bad content creator, because I thought if I made a video titled transphobia again, with the thumbnail transphobia again, titled VTuber banned for cheating in Battlefield 6 ? Parentheses, transphobia at play. And then in that video, I talk about how other people are using their identity, her identity as a trans person, as a vehicle to be transphobic under the veneer of cheating. But I'm the one bringing identity to gaming? It's like, I know we have a literacy issue. Like, I know we have a literacy problem in this country, but Jesus Christ, I can only do so much. I can only do so much. Like, I can only do so much. But like that's why I was like, it's so funny, because some of the comments, I'll be fair, are just people saying like, it looks suspicious, or, you know, they're not cheating. But I'm like, my video is about this. It's about that, right? And the reason why I'm bringing this up again, even though I just made a video on this within the last like 24 hours, is because, like I've always said, this shit does not exist in a vacuum. This spiraled out, right? Because now, and I don't have my headphones on for this, because now, not only was Riley like fucking trending and put on like goddamn Forbes. Like, here, if I type in, let's just see something. On fucking Forbes, bro. In Forbes, a 23-year-old a trans woman who does cat girl shit on Twitch, which is something, let's be really real, a cat girl trans person, whether they're a trans man or a trans woman, should not make headlines. That's like saying fork found in kitchen, all right? If we're being completely real. But it's like look at this. This video will end Riley CS. Battlefield biggest cheater isn't cheating. Exposing the truth. Via Battlefield 6 cheating scandal. Cat girl caught cheating. Battlefield 6 cheat. And it's like, how to spot cheat. Like, and it's like, it's all this from a person you've never heard of before, right? Gets onto Forbes. And Forbes talks about it. Okay. Dexterto talks about it. That makes sense. Dexterto talks about random shit in the sphere. Okay. Fucking Forbes is talking about this. Sign me the chat. TTBN again. It's Delta Delta. You said trans, so you must be the one who's doing it, right? Yeah, it's my fault. My fault for validating someone's identity. That's on me. I keep bringing identity into video game. Yeah, the whole internet has turned to Twitter. It's dead internet, but bots talking. But look, so we have Battlefield on Forbes. It's going to give me a blocker, right? Because that article's not going to be free. Oh, shit. Oh, Forbes being based and actually letting me look at it. So we have this Forbes article, right? By Paul Tassi. I had to unfollow them on Twitter because I got posting too much Destiny shit. I didn't care about that. But like, they're just talking about what's happening, right? And they even did a hand cam, all this shit too. Like Riley did another stream with a hand cam to say that they're not cheating. And nothing's been proven either way. But again, that doesn't matter. Had this been the end of it, had the Forbes article been like, that's it, it's done, okay. It was a weird fucking explosion of transphobia and we moved on. But we didn't move on. Oh, now it's coming up. No thanks. Because now you have, and I'll put my headphones on for this, you have the usual suspects. All right, so we have, obviously I was keeping track of this shit, right? And mind you, you have people who are professionals who are like, it's insane how many noobs just can't comprehend. If you practice something, you get better at it. The average person really just relies on aim assist and yells cheaters anytime they die. All of the clips Riley posts look 100% legit and all the replies are insane. And from what I've seen, a lot of professionals are like, yeah, this is just good shit. Like, they can also do that shit too, right? But what I wanted to talk about, before we go to this video actually breaks down what happens, is I wanted to talk about this guy. Of course I did. You guys thought we go a day without talking about this guy? Let's hear what the Roach King has to say.
The LGBT is mostly fine. You're right. Trans is the main issue that people have a problem with. That is the main issue. It's not gay. It's certainly not bi.
Okay, so right off rip, Right off rip. Right. Let's go back.
It's mostly fine. You're right. Trans is the main issue that people have a problem with. That is the main issue. It's not gay.
It's not gay. People don't have a problem with gay. Are you sure about that? No, of course he's not. Of course he's not sure about that. He's not sure about anything, but he doesn't care. Like, oh, it's so frustrating. He says this when quite literally they are trying to overturn same-sex marriage. Like, they are literally trying to fucking go to Kim Davis, right? It's formally asked to overturn the landmark same-sex marriage. That'd be Oberfell ruling. 10 years after this, Kim Davis, the former Kentucky County Clerk who was jailed 6 days in 2015 after refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay couple on religious grounds, is appealing a $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damage plus $260,000 for attorney fees. In a petition of writ of certiorari filed last month, Davis argues First Amendment protections for free exercise of religion immunizes her from personal liability for the non-marriage licenses. And then she hashed a petition calling it legal fiction. The petition appears to be like the first time since 2015 that the court has been formally asked to overturn the landmark marriage decision. Davis is seen as one of the only Americans currently with legal standing to bring a challenge to the precedent. So, if we did not have a problem with gay people, then there quite simply wouldn't be so much hubbub about a random person saying we should overturn same sex. But if you factor in who's in SCOTUS, the same people who did not do any protections for Roe v. Wade now actually overturned Roe v. Wade. And we know that the conservative game plan for literal decades has been the overturning of both Roe v. Wade and same-sex protections. This is why everyone from Forbes to USA Today to Axios to ABC News to Newsweek are all talking about this, okay? Because there's a very real possibility that that gets overturned. Like, so this is the real world. And for someone who was a political thought leader to say such just embarrassing, ignorant shit and then have people listen to them is so frustrating. Lawyers and people in the know say justices won't pick it up, but if the Supreme Court does it, will be overturned, they'll go back to the states. Yes, and that's the thing too. You'll have people who argue it's okay because it just means it goes to the states, as if people aren't affected by that. Like, and that's what it comes down to too, right? It's empathy. We'll get back to this in a second, but first time in the stream, this is how I operate. It is about the lack of empathy. We have become such a cold and cruel country where people are seeing the rights of others being stripped away, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but the rights of others being stripped away, and they're saying it's okay, it just goes back to the state. Do you know how like insane that is? Like, imagine if we were like, hey, which a lot of people probably wouldn't have a problem with this, right? But if we're like, hey, you know what? The federal government overstepped its bounds when it said slavery is illegal and bad. So we're going to allow slavery to be the decision of states. Okay, it's out of our hands. The states can decide now if they want to have slavery again. Not just slavery within the terms of prison, but actual back in the field slavery. Let's bring that back on the docket, because everything should just be like whatever the states want. The states have the right to do everything they want. Unless it is something beneficial, then we'll fight against it. Like, it's like we live in a world where you have people who are more pissed at the idea of helping people get out of financial debt than genocide, right? Like, this is the world we live in. I'm talking about all these things because they're not in vacuums, right? So that's the state of the world, the state of this country. So to be like, there's no problem with queer people, this is the same rhetoric the same rhetoric that was used to stop interracial relationships, right? The same rhetoric that was used to keep black people in check, to keep other minorities in check. The same rhetoric to use against gay people is the exact same rhetoric used against trans people. Trans people have become permissible to attack. So that's why all of this vigor, all of this anger is directed towards them. But the second they're allowed to go for gay people, they're immediately going to Supreme Court. Like, hey, overturn this shit, get rid of the protections. Like, it's insane.
It's certainly not bi, and it's absolutely not lesbians. It's trans.
That's also funny to me too, because one of the people's Asmongold likes to watch is our good friend Andy Pants Gaming. And if you know anything about Andy Pants and the people like him, they use the word black lesbian girl boss all the time. They use lesbian as a derogatory term, right? Because it's degeneracy to them. So yes, there are large swaths of people actually who have a problem with literally every sexual identity you mentioned. No one's just like, dude, we love the queers, we love gays, we love lesbians, we love bi people, we just don't like trans people. Because transness, people who are trans, that's not a sexual identity. And because it's not that, your argument makes no sense. Because if you're just like, oh, they need to, you know, get rid of trans people. The problems with trans people. Trans people are also gay, dumbass. Like, they're also lesbians. This is just turf talking points, which is a natural progression of his ideology, right? So why am I surprised?
That's where all of the hostility, all of the negativity comes from. Yes, and trans should not be involved with LGBT. There should not be an LGBT. LGBT. It should just be LGB.
So again, if you guys are all caught on this shit, it's LGB without the T. But that is a literal movement, especially happening in the UK. But without the T is a thing. Like that's a thing. Oh, look. LGBTQ websites, web pages, remove info about trans and intersex people. Oh, wow, man, that's crazy. It's almost as if the shit's already happening. Damn, dude, it's...
Trans is how you see yourself. Bisexual, being gay, being a lesbian is how you see other people.
Doesn't make any sense. There are people who are lesbians, who are gay, who are bi, who identify as that. That's how they see themselves. That's part of their identity. Like, I'm a straight man. I'm assuming you're a straight man. Is that not part of your identity? Is how other people see you? What doesn't make any sense? Other people's perceptions are what? Reality? Like, am I dumb? Is
LGBT, it should just be LGB. Trans is how you see yourself. Bisexual, being gay, being a lesbian is how you see other people. Being trans
no sense.
Is not a sexuality. All three of the other ones are sexualities.
Okay, so he did touch on that. Here's the thing. Here's what he's not understanding. And this is why I hate the fact that people use this guy as any sort of litmus test outside of, are you a complete dumbass or not? The reason why the LGBTQIA plus exists is because we live in a heteronormative structure, okay? So everything that's not heteronormative falls under the queer umbrella. Because queer doesn't just mean gay, okay? Queer is different. It's a whole category and there's subcategories. And there are also groups that are just for trans people. There are groups that are just for lesbians, just for gay men, just for bisexual. There are groups like that. But the umbrella term is the LGBTQIA+. That is the term that they're under too, because they are not cis hetero. We who are cis hetero are also under this term. However, we have not experienced any sort of oppression due to us being straight and cisgender. There is no need for us to have any sort of labels or groups. We are the in group, they are the out group. We are the group in power and dominance, they are not. So they get othered. That's how that works. That's why people aren't called white Americans. You're just Americans, and then you're African American, Mexican American, Asian American, Filipino American, right? You're never just called white Americans. because the white people in this country are the dominant in-group. That's how labeling socially works. The in-group gets to determine everyone else's label. Like, I don't I will say, every time to talk about Asmongold or any of these guys, it does make me come off as way smarter. Because like I understand like at least like basic working theories of like social hierarchies and interactions. These guys are just like, yeah, no. Transgender is not a sexual identity. Like, yeah, we know. We understood that decades ago. Like,
it's that simple. Yeah, trans is a big problem. Well, I don't know about being a big problem. I don't think it's a big problem. What I'm saying is like
said it was.
Issues they're much more divisive and they're much more like people have like much stronger feelings on the trans issues than they do about gay issues or something like that.
So your plan is then to what, remove trans people from LGBTQ? Also, I'm sorry. When did Asmongold become like the king of gay town? Like, when did he get to make edicts about like, this is what the gay community should do? Like, is there anything more like straight white dude entitled than to sit in your house and judge the actions of other oppressive groups? This is what they should do. If they don't want people coming after their community, they should just cut off the trans people. And then it will be sweet. There'll be no problems for gay people. like what do you think's gonna happen if they do that? If you give in to this, if you allow them to break your solidarity, they're just going to keep chipping away. No one who's ever had an advantage in like a social setting, right? No one who's ever had an advantage or power, right, has just given up once they got what they wanted. Like, never. We're living through that as Americans right now. They're not going to just give this up. They are finding ways to entrench their power structure. Like, they're not going to be like, oh shit, let's talk about this for a second, right? This is a very politically charged section. I get it, but this is me, right? It's what I do. The Republicans control everything in the government, all three levels of government. The Republicans are in charge, right? And they convinced their base that if they deport people, if you get trans people out of sports, that's somehow going to make your groceries more affordable. That's somehow going to make housing affordable. That's obviously never going to happen, right? That's not going to happen. Because all they're doing now are finding ways to erode institutions so that it's harder for them to be taken out of power. They're trying to gerrymander so they can, draw new districts so that in the upcoming midterms, there are more opportunities for Republicans to maintain their seats. That's all they want, is maintain power. If people were to follow his advice, which again is just turf talking points, then you would just see trans people being put even further down the totem pole of societal acceptance, to the point where they could just be murdered for free and no one would give a shit. And that would fix nothing, because trans people aren't doing anything besides living. Trans people aren't this special group that is immune to the ills of humanity. There are trans people who are, abusive, who are aggressive, but also trans people who are loving and nice and doctors. Like, I shouldn't have to explain that trans people are humans, and as humans with the capacity for both good and bad, right? But they seem to only view transness as just weird and they're wrong and they're degenerates and they're only negative. Meanwhile, right, you have, let's keep this here. I follow Rabs because she always has good shit. There are 34 church leaders and Christian school employees who were arrested, pled guilty, and are sentenced to prison for child sex crimes in the month of July. So in July, there was 34 church leaders, 34 people who were in institutions that people considered to be not degenerate, consider them to be holy, useful. All of them within churches, right, pled guilty to child sex crimes. Arrested, pled guilty, and were sentenced. And/or were sentenced. 34. Now, the vast majority of these guys are obviously visibly white men. There's a black guy here. There's, I think, someone who's of like Asian descent, probably some Latinos here too, right? There's a woman. Ooh, a couple of women here, right? We love diversity, but overwhelmingly white people. So now imagine if I were to say some shit like, oh, we shouldn't allow white people to be near children. That's the problem that churches have, especially Christian churches. There's too many white people there. So why don't you no longer allow white people to be part of churches? And then churches will have a better image, right? Like, like it's just such bad logic, and they'll just stand by it because their fucking Roach King tells them that.
Obviously, there's some people that don't like any of it, but in a general sense, I think that's what's going on. Are we really backtracking in history? Yeah, clearly that's what's happening.
Yeah, dude, and you're one of the main fucking contributors to that. Are we backtracking in history? Yeah. Have you seen As Nicole's content? Yeah, we're backtracking in history. And he fucking loves it. Gives him views. But like, and this is, mind you, this is because of what happened with Riley. This is the root of this. Well, the root is transphobia, but the specific inflection point here was a trans girl was good at Battlefield. Like, that's the, you want to show that picture of like the domino effects. Trans girl locked in on Battlefield 6, then it becomes the final domino to fall is the putting a trans people in internment camps. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. What'd you walk in on? You walked in on me angrily, passionately, trying to make people understand how absolutely insane it is to be upset at the existence of trans people. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And another reason why I brought this up is because, like I always say, this shit is not in a vacuum. It interacts with other forces. A teenager filed a discrimination charge against a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant after having to expose herself to prove she's a woman. A server reportedly stopped her from using the woman's bathroom and told her to get out until she revealed herself under her top. So they saw this person and were like, nah, I don't think you're a woman. Show me your boobs. And I have talked about this before. Not on this channel, on my other channels I used to have access to, I forgot it. But I mentioned this when they were talking about that one sprinter. Her name was like Samana. Her name was like Samana. Castro Samana. Semena. Talking about Castro Semena, who is a biologically, cis woman, right? And they were trying to say that this is a trans person. This is a trans person because she has higher testosterone naturally, and she got banned from competing. Yes, so she had a sex eligibility case. Two-time Olympic champion runner Caster Semenya won a partial victory at the European Court of Human Rights on Thursday in her 7-year legal fight against track and field sex eligibility rules. The court's 17-judge highest chamber said that in the 15-2 vote that Semenya had some of her rights to a fair hearing violated at Switzerland's Supreme Court, where she had appealed against a ruling by the Court of Arbitration for Sports in favor of Track's World Athletics. So her thing is that the original case between Semenya and Track's governing body based in Monaco was about her, but what athletes like her who have specific medical conditions, atypical male chromosome pattern, and naturally high testosterone levels should be allowed to compete freely in women's sports. Right. So like, and I talked about that too back way back when this happened during the Olympics actually. And I was talking about how what we have done is when we started being so exceedingly transphobic that what we created was in fact ugly laws, where if I don't think you look how a woman should look, I'm going to be able to check you. I'm going to be able to treat you a certain way until you cave into my demands. And I and a bunch of other people had been saying it for the longest time that this will also affect cis women. Because what does a woman look like? I know some people are like, oh my God, you know what a woman looks like? But women have variety, as do men. There is no universal look for a woman. There are cis women like Castor who have XY chromosomes, who have high levels of testosterone. Well, they are still biologically, right, cis women. You start to create a world where teenagers can be forced to disrobe in front of strange dudes, and then you have people like this saying she could try a little harder to appear feminine. It's about a fucking teenager. Like it's insane. And that's what we were talking about. Like everyone always says you're being alarmist, right? You lefties, you liberals, you're all alarmists. And it's like, this is the logical conclusion of things. If you give anyone carte blanche, if you say, I don't think you look like a woman, and now there's laws that say I can fucking have you disrobe because you're a trans person trying to go to someone's bathroom, like that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And this relates to the Riley thing. And it sounds dumb to say, oh my God, video games, but it's true. This is all part of the same thing. Because Riley does not present to a bunch of transphobes as a woman, and if we're being really real, it's they don't find them attractive. Because that's what it always comes down to. It's never about any sort of equity or fairness or anything like that. It is, you are a woman that I don't find attractive and you're trans, so I'm going to go harder against you because it makes me feel some type of way, right? And that was the whole point I was trying to get at my video, was all of this is transphobia. And transphobia hurts everybody because it's bigotry. And bigotry hurts people all over. And like, you have people who are defending Riley. You have fucking professionals who are like, no, dude, again, she's just locked in. But that doesn't matter. Because now the running story is, look at this trans person who cheats at video games. Aren't they terrible? We should kick them out of gaming. We should kick them out of the LGBTQ. We should kick them out of these spaces. But we're not transphobic, you guys. We just care about cheating. It's all about ethics and video game journalism, you see. Not about keeping women out of these spaces or putting them in their place. Nope, it's never been about that. If they did find her attractive, no, it would. 100% would. If they found her hot, attractive, what they find, like, let's say, like, what are these guys, like Megan Fox, some shit attractive, it would be a non-issue. We know that because whenever you see a woman who engages in illicit activities with an underage child, like an underage man, they always go, wish it was me. They don't call her a perv or a freak or a creep or anything like that. Say, wish it was me. So absolutely, attraction plays a huge role in this. And I'm just like, it's so infuriating. It's so infuriating that like we are dealing with this and people are still trying to tell me that I'm the one overreacting, that I'm the one who is, you know, bringing the race or gender identity into this. I'm looking at people, is online gamers like asthma and religious right is passing laws aren't the same. I don't think the same. Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. So you're correct. They aren't the same, right? Because the people who they're siding with, and if you guys have seen my video talking about collective shout, right? the people that they're siding with on these issues, like trans people are wrong or bad, are the same people who want to make sure that they can't get their horny video games. They're the same people who want to make sure that if their games have violence in it, that they want it gone. But because they are reaching common ground by spewing the same sort of rhetoric, but they're just throwing it at people that they do not like, they are agreeing with them. They are giving them more power. From a social standpoint, they give them soft power. Like, yeah, dude, we hate these guys. They're weirdos or whatever. And then when they're like, and also, we're gonna get rid of your TD games. Like, what? You can't do that. And it's like, my brother in Christ, you've already given them the in. Because all they have to do is say, we want to get rid of degeneracy. Why do you think I always laugh and also go so hard against like Andy Pants? How does he always start his videos? So like the last video was talking about how you want to get your tampon now. When these guys from Reddit, these soy boy cucks, and they're talking about these black girl lesbian boss. I'm like, you're using the same rhetoric. You're cueing your audience to be prime for takeover. Like this is like Viltrumites going to a planet and softening up to be assimilated into the empire, right? Like that's what they're doing. They are useful idiots. They are using the exact same tactics that are being used against them in order to spread the right-wing messaging. Right-wingers, these alt-right guys, they don't even like video games the way that we do, okay? But they're allowing them to come inside because they are presenting things in a way that their dummy brains can accept. Brain turn off. Wait, you want to get rid of all these queer people from video games? Hell yeah, bro. I'm down with that. Oh, wait. You also have attached queerness with degeneracy, and you've also attached human expression like nudity with degeneracy, and you've also attached violence to degeneracy. Oh, wait, shit. So when you're saying degeneracy, what you really mean is things that go against your puritanical world belief. But I like those things. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. There's no one's to come for now. Like, god damn. First they came for the goddamn gamers. Like, I don't like, and it's like, I think it's so, he's 100% evangelical type. But on the eye, to me, this shit looks so blatantly transparent. Like, I'm like, I can call your move out 10 steps ahead. I know exactly where this is going. And then it always blows me when I get hit with such extreme blowback. And I'm like, how do you not see all the time you spent talking about Sweet Baby Inc. was allowing people like Collective Shout to swoop in? Like, it's so crazy to me. All the time you talk about DEI, and we're gonna go back to a time like that. The want to go back to an idyllic past is such a right-wing fucking tool that they saw that and glommed onto it. You idealizing this past that never existed, right? Like that is their bread and butter. That's how they get into you. Remember when gaming when guys were tough? Remember when you could play a video game on your console and this and that? Remember the good days before the woke came? I'm like, how is that any different? But when you see these conservatives talking about, remember when the population was more homogenous? Remember when those times when life was good, things were safe and stable? Back in the 50s? Don't look any further. Don't look any further into why we chose that time period of American history. Remember in the 50s when things were cool and you could get a milkshake and you could, afford things? Let's go back to that time. It's like, yeah, that's a good idea. But again, please don't look into why we actually chose that time period. Remember when video games were just masculine? Remember when it was just white guys in front of video games and white guys on screens and you play army games? It's like, yeah, bro, we obviously know what you're doing with this. But then I guess not. And the most annoying thing is how Asmon and Tectone changed their stances because they thought they could pull more clout. Okay, you know what? I don't think I've ever actually just flat said that. Asmongold and Tectone are fucking morons. I've said that a bunch, but they are morons. And they have no convictions. They have, Asmongold has no convictions. Tectone might have a couple coming up. His dad definitely has convictions, but they have no like moral stance. They have no grounds. They have no backbone. Everything that they do, much like, fuck it, let's throw XQC in there. Those guys are the most audience captured people you'll ever see. Do you remember that footage of XQC where he was like, people were showing him his old tweets from Black Lives Matter from like 2020, and then he was like, this is why people gotta do their research. They fall for anything. And then he was like, oh shit, I actually did say that. That was 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. You can't even be consistent in the time it takes someone to finish high school. Like, yeah, it's all about money. That's the thing that's so frustrating. It's capitalism, baby. That's it. I got a comment. If I can find it, I'll show you guys. But I got a comment on one of my videos, and I was like, this is an insane thing to say. But they were talking about how, probably on my Tectone glazing video, where they were talking about how he has millions of, yes, here we go. So like, this guy is talking about, wonder why they have millions of subs versus your thousands. Maybe you're actually on the wrong side of this. And someone was like, are you sure you want to keep this comment up? And I'm like, hey man, you should delete this. And he's like, yeah, I delete the video as well, but not my channel. Sounds like a UZ, I think it must say a U issue. See, the reason they're saying delete this is because you're doing ad populism, which 1D, but it's fine, you're on my side. And that's not inherently a good point in everything with more subs, Twitch follows better. Like, is MrBeast the best YouTuber? Is Kai the best Twitch streamer objectively? So if not, then ad populism does not make sense compared to the good points made in this video. And then in content creation, I'd argue the point is to draw the most eyes to it. So yes, MrBeast is the current YouTube GOAT, and I don't need to like him or his content to concede that he's the best at it. Likewise, Asmongold is the best Twitch streamer as he gets the most views. And it's just like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, to base your entire worldview. If you guys know what ad populism is, it's, here, let's get it official enough, but basically it is appealing to like larger numbers because a bunch of people believe it to be true, right? Like if a bunch of people were to believe that the earth was fucking flat, then you'd be like, well, the earth must be flat. Like, that's not true, right? And we see this in day-to-day shit all the time. And I'd like to use movies for an example because it's the easiest way to look at it. Or video games too. You have seen movies that have made hundreds of millions dollars, hundreds of millions. You've seen movies that probably made like a couple of million. I guarantee you've seen higher quality films that have grossed less than these big budget like tentpole films, right? You've played video games that you felt were much better than the game of the years. Or if you're like an anime nerd like me, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards gave Anime of the Year to Solo Leveling over Freerun. And I think, and Liable think, that Freerun is a much better anime than Solo Leveling. But Solo Leveling has hype and aura, and people are all about that nowadays. So it wins. That doesn't mean Solo Leveling is a better quality. Like just because a lot of people like something or believe something, that doesn't make it good or right or true. Me having less subscribers than people who've been doing this longer than me makes logical sense. And the reason why they have more subscribers than me is because they were doing it longer and they were obviously able to catch on to trends. But the point I'm making here is these people aren't consistent. I mean, you have them talking about how back in the past they were so restricted and they felt they had to be PC, but now they feel like they can unleash themselves. It's not a coincidence they feel like they can unleash themselves during a Trump presidency that we're being super fascist in, right? Let's talk about Tectone for a second. Tectone was just a fucking gotcha champ loser. And now suddenly, he's all about being super transphobic. All about that. I will never bend the knee to the woke or whatever. It's because now it's profitable. I guarantee you, if like next month we did a hard pivot and actually we're gonna go so far left that we're gonna get rid of fucking capitalism, they would be the first ones to be like, hell yeah, brother. I love everyone. Everyone should do what they want to do. They don't have any convictions. They're fair weather. It's easy to grow when you just catch on to popular shit. Remember, Asmongold used to be a World of Warcraft streamer. Bro doesn't even touch video games anymore. He's out here talking about trans people being an issue, and other videos talking about people starting all white communities. Like these are not people. These are not people that should be taken seriously. But they're taken seriously because we are in a very, very stupid timeline. Someone would literally say, "Oh, of course he would," and he would get absolved for it. Because here's the key. Here's the reason why. All right. And listen, I will never become an alt-right grifter. Those people have no fucking convictions. But the reason why so many people look at what's happening right now. Okay, so you have. Where is this loser? Where is this fucking loser? I'm gonna go to my dashboard, go to my post. Okay, so you have this loser named J Viper TV. Now, J Viper, he blocked me on Twitter, but I had to get the screen captured. I want to highlight a point, right? This guy has an entire, I think I've showed you before, but he has an entire threads dedicated to just me, my posts, just going through, because I said someone he likes has no emotion. And I've been proven correct time and time again. But this is a person who not only doesn't fucking create content on YouTube or Twitch, he's just a fucking person on Twitter, was behind the time of like getting in on the blocking of Riley, of getting them banned, that they're complaining that they unbanned Riley and now is mad that they can't mass flag Riley like what happened before. They can't false flag him. Jay Viper has no dog in this fight, but like every anti-woke grifter, the second they smell blood in the water, they suddenly have the most to say about this topic. They're suddenly the most diehard. They're suddenly the most informed on this topic. And that's why I wrote, please tell me this isn't a transphobic hate campaign, but it's about only cheating. This Luther J doesn't even had zero idea about this person, but is irate that he can't false flag. Because this is content to them. Look at that. He got 555,000 views on this, right? And he's like, oh, Twitch now or blocking. But is he even on? Let me see. Let me see something real quick. Where's that TV? I want to see if J Viper. When was the last time he streamed on Twitch? All right, so 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Looks like he was on Twitch. What about YouTube? Jay Viper.
What's up, everybody? It's Jay Viper here.
Let the shouts that I mean, no, they didn't. Now, does this look like the account of someone who is super into Battlefield 6? Does this look like the account of someone who is a major FPS player who cares so much about Battlefield 6 that the only time they mentioned Battlefield 6 was, oh, let's see, actually. Well, a month ago, nothing from Battlefield 6. Nothing about Battlefield 6. How about if I type in Battlefield? How about just Battlefield? Battlefield. So is Battlefield 6 worth it? So 3 days ago. And then 8 years ago, he's talked about Battlefield 1. So years ago. Get him out of a Twitch streamer that he hasn't streamed on the platform in 4 years. He's talked about Battlefield 6 one time 3 days ago, and his last time talking about Battlefield was 8 years ago. But we're supposed to believe that this guy cares so much about what's happening on Twitch and cheating, and starts cheating in Battlefield 6, and didn't just hop onto his very last minute to the point where he had already missed the initial banning. But like, that's how it works. It's nothing but content for these guys. That's it. They don't give a shit about anything. Like, at all. If we just type in Riley, I'm curious now. Like Riley CS. Cheating. Oh yeah, 10. Let's look at this guy for a second. 10, what's that say? 10 IQ Gaming. Streamer report. Tarkov streamers are using AI to cheat. Summer alert. Streamer reports. Dockley were cheating. Cheating at Tarkov. Cheating. I like how everything else is like, this person's cheating, and this is like, this video will end Riley CS. You notice how this level of vitriol isn't even fucking used for people who playing a more popular game. I just exposed how Tarkov streamers operate, and it's disturbing. Tarkov streamer caught on another stolen account. This 15k hour Rust player was just banned on Tarkov. But then when it comes to Riley, it's this will end Riley CS. Nowhere else is it this will end so-and-so. This will destroy. Something as big as Dr. Lupo cheating doesn't even get like anything negative. Nothing compares to the hatred people have for trans people. It's so fucking permissible, and it's so rampant. Like, holy shit, dude. Oh, Saf the video on this. Of course, Rev. Of course. I'm not going to do it to you guys. We're not going to talk. We're not going to watch a Rev. Don't worry. I've already tortured you guys enough. This weirdo fucked up. Do not worry. We're also not going to watch another Tectone video. I'm not going to, my last stream for a while, I'm not going to have you guys suffering. Not too much. We are going to look at some weird AI shit though. But like, the level of vitriol that this person's getting for being trans and how we as a society have allowed this to happen has blown my mind. Like, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll probably watch the videos off stream. But like, again, all of this is because my employees beg me to watch Legendary Drops just to have me see it. Hey, big man, they hate you. I'm sorry. Hey, they don't fuck with you. No, I have watched Sapphire before. I've actually done a video on it, and I'm pretty confident we follow each other on Twitter. I think we're mutuals, me and her, and me and Naira. Oh, also Naira started trending because they, you know, talked about their past like misgivings, and people were like, made them fucking trend because of Tectone, because she's such a fucking balding loser. And I'm sorry, bro. If there are people who are former like CSGO fucking pros or like first person shooter, like high level pros, and they're saying the person is not cheating, I'm more inclined to believe them than the fucking gotcha game streamer boy, all right? Who's never competed on, to my knowledge, any professional level of gaming, to take their word for it. I don't think I would ever do that. But yeah, man, that shit just got me fired up. I've been talking about it for an hour straight. Professional special streamers who get paid to ramble. And listen, as a rambling ass man myself, you should not take my opinions over an expert's, right? You shouldn't. And I don't mean like an expert streamer, because what the fuck does that mean? But like someone who's done this in the professional capacity has way more insight. It's like, I don't know how like sports inclined you guys are, but like I love watching basketball, right? I played it my whole life. I can't play it because my body sucks, but I played basketball my whole life. There are some things I know about basketball that I think the casual person wouldn't know. But yeah, no, exactly. I was able to, refer to an expert, not just listen to me. But like, I play basketball. I love basketball, I love watching basketball, I love playing it, even though I can't play as much anymore. So I do know some things that I think a casual person wouldn't know. Like when I explain things to my sister, I'm like, this is why they're doing this. This matchup's happening here. They're having this matchup because if they keep doubling on the perimeter, it's going to leave this guy open. So they want him to shoot. So they're going to double on him. They're going to force him to pass the ball, right? It's, there's like little mind games. There's things that happen here that separate casuals from pros, right? Like it's like, again, if you watch basketball, that's my sport. It's the things that come from the margin. It's the reason why you might see someone like sign a player for like $20 million and then let go of someone who was a rising star. You're like, why would they do that? And I'm like, oh, it's because they play in the margins, right? Like you look at a person like Alex Caruso, who plays for the Oklahoma State Thunder, who were the most recent NBA champions. The Thunder don't win the championship without Alex Caruso. And it sounds dumb to say if you are just a casual just looking, but like SGA is an MVP. He scores all these points and they have, Jalen Williams is really good and they have Chet Holmgren. It's like, yes, but they've had these people before and it didn't lead to anything. They added Alex Caruso and Hartenstein, they won a championship. It's because players like that who know their role to a T are valuable. They're much more valuable than a scorer. And it sounds dumb to say, but everyone at a professional level can put the ball in the basket. But what you need those people who will make those extra hustle plays that don't show up in the stat sheet, but they alter shots, they alter passing lanes, they make players second guess their moves because they're crafty. Like you won't see those things on the stat sheet. The same thing applies to people who game at a high level. Like they're talking about like their DPI inputs and their game sense and their memories of like, knowing the most logical locations for players to show up, their map knowledge, their use of weapons, they're knowing how just for recoil, they're knowing how to, all that shit, right? You look and go, damn, that guy's really good. But people who are really, really good can be like, no, he kind of sucks actually. And then they play against those to get blown out, right? Like that's the difference. So like when I'm seeing people who are the equivalent of have only watched basketball their entire lives, and there are people who are like, I'm a former D1, former professional athlete, and they're telling you something, and you're like, no, that guy sucks. And like, no, that guy's a fucking monster. I'm gonna trust a professional. I watched so many basketball podcasts and they're talking about like, who was your welcome to the NBA moment? Which player, it was like all the smug podcasts. They're talking about which player bust your ass. And you have people mentioning players you wouldn't even think about. Like Al Jefferson was a monster. He was. But no one talks about Al Jefferson. But players were like, oh, he was fucking hard to guard. Or it'd be like, yeah, I got my ass lit up by Nick Axel, Nick the Quick. Or it's like, oh, Kyrie Irving, one of the best basketball players, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I got fucking demolished by Jameer Nelson. And you wouldn't think that. But it's like, because they're at that level, they understand different things than we do. So it's just weird seeing people going like, well, look at that. She clearly cheated because she flicked her wrist too quickly and then she shot this guy in the head. And it's like, I see pros saying, well, no, she has good game sense. And like, hey, see this frame right here? She's actually overshot, so she's overcorrecting. That's the thing that you don't do in aimbot. And it's like, there's so much there. Yes, the mind the game, right? I love the podcast so much, but like, that's what I mean. Is they're breaking out like, how many of you guys knew what the horns action was? Like, do you know what the dunker spot was? Do you know about these different coverages? Like, there's a much more technical side the higher you go up. But we're casual observers. We're not saying, oh, he's putting him in a horns action. Oh, he just put him in a blender. Like, no, you don't understand. He triggered the offense half a step earlier because he knew that the defender was going to cheat it. So he started it here, and then they did a swing pass right to the corner for that three. It's like, no, that's brilliant basketball. And it's like people are just like, just shot an open shot. It's like, no, the reason why that shot was open is because that guy did such a good solid screen. He's such a good screener. And you'd be like, what does that have to do with basketball? It's like, he's so good at getting people open, right? Which is beneficial. But you're not going to be watching basketball like, that guy's such a good screener, bro. But if you're at the higher levels, people follow me on Twitch. I'm not even on there. How do they, whatever. But it's like, when you get to that higher level, like fighting games, right? I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Yeah, like fighting games, for example, right? You could watch him, that guy's pretty good. You see pros talking on pros, they're all like, oh my God, dude, like, he hit me with the shit on wake up, and I had to use this attack because it has priority, but he knew that. So I knew he was going to use super armor. So I feinted that attack and I went into my ultimate, and then he did and you're just like, wait, what? How did they're just like if you've ever watched high level like fighting games, like high level people play, it's actually very boring because if you aren't familiar with the difficulty of like playing against someone else, you don't understand why these motherfuckers are just doing basic combos, right? And it's like, because they can't get that clipping combo off on this person because this person knows the reads. So I know you're trying to set me up for this, so I'm not going to give that to you. And that's like, well, I know you know, so I have to play mind games with you. Exactly, because professionally at that level, if someone gets a hit off of you, they can knock off 80% of your health bar, right? And everyone's like, oh, look at this sick combo they did in labbing. They're labbing. Look at this combo they did on practice. Like, yeah, any professional can get off a fucking 100 hit combo on a scrub, but if you're someone of equal talent, you're doing chip damage. you're getting thrown across the ring every single time, right? Like, exactly, like you're witnessing people playing at such a high level that one mistake spells doom. So they can't do the flashy shit all the time. Why do you think people are still losing their minds decades later of the losers bracket Evo with Daigo and Justin Wong? Right? Because to a regular person who just watches that, you're just like, okay, so he blocked this attack and he punched him. But the people who know the difficulty, it's like, no, he didn't just parry an attack. He parried every single frame. He knew when to go high during this combo and then got into his own combo. And like, that's hard. Yes, and footsie shit, right? Because again, every hit can be lethal. I mean, especially in that regard, because he was down to literally one sliver where even if he blocked it, he would have died. So he had to parry. But if you don't even know the mechanics of that game, you're like, why didn't you just block it? You see what I mean? Like, it's from a casual level, like, why didn't you just block it? Hey, he was wide open. Why didn't he just take that shot? It's like, no, he can't take that shot because that's not what they need right now. Right? Like, there's so much that goes into it. And it's just all this to say that I am not a Call of Duty player. I'm not a Battlefield player. I'm not a professional or former professional gamer, right? But I understand there are levels to this shit. So someone who looks really, 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 really good probably just train their ass to be that good. Right? Like, also too, going back to the thing, there's anti-cheat, right? And their anti-cheat's fucking deep. I think it's like kernel level anti-cheat. Pineapple 6 Open beta weekend had plenty of cheaters, but the most locked in character research said she wasn't one of them after playing even better with the hand cam. Oh, and then of course, there was another, the bald loser guy was talking about, they did hand cam, by the way, because he asked Grok a question. And I'm just like, it's latency. Because they're trying to say that their hand flickered and then like 2 seconds later on screen it moved. And I'm like, it's latency. Like, that's just basic shit. It's latency. Ender's talking about the flick into the wall at 13 seconds. Complete misses the enemy, by the way. Not much of a lock on if you ask me. The screenshot is taken from the exact frame the flick hits its farthest left point. And I'm like, we're breaking it down to this minutia. It's insane. It's insane. Like, it's like, it's I actually remember this too. When people were looking at her footage and were like, how come there's no recoil on the gun? Battlefield 6 recoil emerges as the first FPS's first big hullabaloo, thanks to its zero recoil gun. So it's like, which just tells me even more, like the people who are the biggest complainers about this shit don't even play the game. Like, yeah, I said, yeah. If you have Valorant installed, you can't even fucking play this game. Like, listen, I'm not pro kernel level shit either, just so you know. I think that's also way too invasive. But it just goes to show, I'm like, there's 330,000 people were caught cheating. It's like, is Riley using some advanced cheat where it's like I can toggle it on and off and my computer won't know and it won't register for anything? Or can they just be good? And even then, as I said before, I don't care about the cheating. I don't. I ultimately, it's immaterial to the major issue going on here. And for those of you guys who do care about the cheating in this game, that's fine. Like I said in my video. But why are we acting so obtuse in saying that this is just because they cheated and not because, you know, she's trans? When, if you look at the comment, if you look at the bottom of the one comment on this whole article, it says, why say she? It's a 30-year-old man. So nothing about the cheating, but their point of contention was, actually, that's a man. Like what, again, what does that change? If the thing is about cheating, then the person cheated. But no, actually it was a man. And that's important for some reason. Like, we are living in hell. We are living in hell. We are in hell, and I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna keep trying. But I don't know, man. Like, what are we to do? What are we to do? Like,